The Houston Rockets start the 2024 season on the road. Let's dive into their first 10 games, which, in my opinion, it features about 5 Western Conference contenders. What was your first impression when you first saw their schedule?
I was like, this is a hard start for a new team, fairly new team with a new coach, trying to get their chemistry. And majority of their games are at home. So one of the benefits that the Houston Rockets have at this stage with the first 10 is that none of them are nationally televised. They get themselves together in at home in the
Mhm,
quad of their, of their market while they're trying
mhm.
to figure out. And so when their first nationally televised game happens, since they only have 4 of them this season, at least they'll look a little bit better. They got a chance to kind of get it together at home. It's like, because you mean they're playing what? The champs, the Nuggets, they playing the Nuggets in this first 10. They're gonna be playing the Lakers, Clippers with Kawhi. I mean, like, how do you start off with this new team doing that? It's like, wow. I think it's a pretty difficult schedule for the Rockets starting off this season. And considering last season they went 1-9 in their first 10. They won one game. They're gonna start off again doing the same thing. So yeah, I think it's a pretty difficult schedule for them, especially since they have a retooled team.
Okay. And I think it's a great primer
Mhm.
for the newcomers to gel with their new coach and their pre-existing young core, right?
Yeah.
Jabari, Jalen, and Sengun. I think it should be a competitive group of 10 games, though. I don't think it's going to be easy or extremely difficult for them. I think it'll be right there in the middle because, when you think about it, the last 3 seasons, the Houston Rockets won less than 25% of their games. I mean, just terrible. I
Okay.
don't expect them to have a rough start like that this season.
I don't know. I don't know. I do know one thing. Why they got to play the Spurs the second game? Can they play the Spurs? Because it's gonna all be about win by Yamba,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So even though the game is not nationally televised, all the news outlets are gonna talk about it. So the Houston Rockets, they're gonna get some type of airtime, especially in how will they look against, the coined defensive player of the year. I read one article that said win by Yamba. I mean, rookie of the year, but he gonna be all that. He gonna be all the things. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. But for me, the schedule looks a little tough to be a new team. But I and Emmy Idoka I trust, so I think they can make it
Well,
happen, right?
yeah, yeah. I think what's going to benefit them most, as you mentioned, is their 7 game homestand. Because for me,
Hmm.
each game is worth watching, whether it's the old vets in Golden State or Brandon Miller and LaMelo in Charlotte or the Sacramento Kings. I mean, I know the Kings are looking to continue on their wonderful season from last season. And then I think the game that I have circled here is November 8th when LeBron James goes into Houston to face Dylan Brooks. I mean, are we going to see a repoking of the bear? I'm with it. Dylan is public enemy number one right now.
And I
So,
love all of it. I love all of it. And quite and to be honest, I really don't know if the league is really for Coach Ime Udoka. I really don't even know that, to be honest. And so we'll see how the season progresses. So yeah, there are going to be some things that the Houston Rockets can use as their what do they call it when they put it on the board? Like was it like
oh, yeah, yeah.
board
Just like
material where they can say,
stepping
see how
stone.
they treat us and how they talk about us, what we gonna do next. Yeah, so I think they have it. I'm looking at I want to know what the Pels look like. Now I know they played the Pels on November 10th, and I guess it'll only be important for me if Zion is playing.
Hmm.
'Cause what will that look like up against, now they got Jacques Landale on the roster for the Houston Rockets. They I just what does that look like? And so I can't wait to see if people have figured out what Zion can do and can they, stop that. I'm just curious. So
Yeah, I think it'll be difficult for the Houston Rockets to, at the start, establish their identity amongst,
yeah.
I think, high expectations from Ime Udoka. Because
Mhm.
how will the Houston Rockets look as themselves? I mean, that probably doesn't make sense, but what does it look like for the Houston Rockets to be the Houston Rockets and not a rendition of the
Yeah,
Boston Celtics? You know what I
exactly.
mean? What
Exactly.
kind of
Exactly.
identity will they have?
Right. Because there's a couple of things that the Houston Rockets will need to kind of shake loose. The residual of James Harden, that's still there a little bit. The residual of Steven Silas. Let's just be honest.
Oh, gosh.
Who will they look? Can they and will they look like the Celtics?
Yeah.
So those are three things that the Houston Rockets need to rid from their storyline and create a new one. Like they need to do whatever the Sacramento Kings did. I'm gonna need the Houston Rockets to do something similar, right? To create their new franchise, their new marketing plan, their new strategy, so they can be individual again, right? And they have a lot of stuff to change. And the stigma of Steven Silas, I'm sorry, is something they're gonna be carrying on into this next season until they can, start winning more games. So
Yeah, and then I also think Coach Udoka might have trouble playing his second squad. I mean, he got some pretty decent players on the second squad, right? Because the starters, man, that's a tough starting five. I mean, this is perfect. But Kevin Porter Jr. deserves some minutes as well. Amen Thompson as a rookie. How many minutes will he get? Because Coach Udoka is gonna play Jalen Green in most of the game.
I know. One of the things I have a concern, and hopefully they'll iron that out within the first 10 games. I am concerned about their depth. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm.
And then that's one thing. And then also the second thing, I am concerned about their defense. Aside from Dylan Brooks, who else is going to be his partner? Like I'm looking to see how that unfolds within the first 10 games. They got to
Mm-hmm.
be somebody else, because once he just can't be Dylan by himself, because I know he's going to do
Right.
all that. He's a juggernaut on defense. So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
who else is going to be able to kind of counter that when he's not there, or be his complement? I just want to know what that looks like.
Yeah, because Fred Van Fleet, he's
Yeah.
6 foot. They have him listed as it, but he's probably 5'11" on a good day. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wearing New Balance instead of Nikes. What shoes is he wearing, on the day that he's
Mhm.
his height is being measured? What day is that?
Yeah, but Jacques Landale can give them a good defensive punch. Albert Sengun is no slouch.
Oh, I like
And I
some.
really like what Jabari Smith Jr. finished last season fairly well, played in the little summer games or whatever. It looked really good. But
Yeah,
he's 6'11". I
I'm
mean, when
telling
you think about his length, it's unassuming because for me, he doesn't look 6'11", but that's what they have him listed at. And
you.
he's
Yeah,
a really good young player.
we'll see. I do like Sangoon though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm looking to see how they develop their chemistry again. This team has not played together, and they'll be playing against teams that actually played a couple of seasons together. Some may have sprinkled in some new pieces here and there, but pretty much their core is together, pretty much, right? And so this Houston Rockets team is creating what that new core looks like for them, but their first 10 will be up against teams that core is pretty established. So that'll be something.
Yeah. And with that said, I mean, how do you predict they'll fare? I mean, what? I mean, you got 7 home games. So
Mhm.
3 on the road of the first 10.
I think they'll do better than they did the previous season when they started the season off in 2023, won 9. I give them 4-6 actually. About winning about 4 games. I have them losing to Golden State Warriors. I have them losing to the Kings twice.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Lakers, Nuggets, and Clippers. How about you? What do you
Okay.
give
I
them?
have them going 6-4.
Oh, to be
Yeah.
first, really?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I have them starting off with a winning record. I think they can beat Orlando. I mean,
Oh
because
yeah, yeah,
really,
yeah,
Paolo
yeah.
Banchero. I think Wemby will be on the biggest stage, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure how he's gonna,
Hmm.
perform. So I have the Rockets beating the Spurs.
Me
I
too.
have them losing to the Golden State Warriors,
Hmm.
winning against Charlotte and
Hmm.
Sacramento. I have them doing a split. And I have them beating the Lakers, the Pels, and losing to the Nuggets and the LA Clippers. So,
Yeah, no. And I'm questionable about the Pels only because I want to know what Zion is going to do. Where he going to be? That will be a
mhm.
question for me, how he looked. And I don't have, and I have the Nuggets. I'm sorry, I have the Kings being victorious in both matchups.
All right, we'll see.
We'll see.